First of all, thank you to the board for coming to our town and hearing our concerns. If we had more time, I would love to show you around the town and explore some of our attractions with you. I'd tell you the story of Burrillville and how we began, from the early American Indian inhabitants of this land to our European settlers, to playing an essential part in the Industrial Revolution. We are one of several towns in Rhode Island which help make up the John H. Chafee Blackstone River Valley National Heritage Corridor Park, which you can see in the map. The Industrial Revolution was not the last chapter, however, in the story of Burrillville. We have transitioned in the time since then into a thriving residential town. We value our families, our friends, and our sense of place and our strong identity as descendants from immigrants to this great nation. My own family has roots in this town dating back to 1860, arriving from Ireland. That makes me, according to my father, a 5th or 6th generation Burrillvillian. I always get it wrong and he always corrects me. I have my own fond memories of ice fishing on Spring Lake in the winter with my grandfather, my father, and brothers. I also cherish memories of swimming in the magnificent, pristine Wallum Lake. A drinking supply lake, which is, as we heard, the drinking supply for Zambarano Hospital, and uncomfortably close to the proposed power plant site. But tonight, I'm not just speaking to you as a resident of Burrillville, but as a resident of Rhode Island. I want to emphasize that this is not simply a not in my backyard issue. I respectfully submit to the board that pollution, carbon emissions, and aquifer depletion do not respect town or state boundaries. In a state only 48 miles long, this is all our backyard. As the Energy Siting Board, we know that you are tasked with examining several major areas of impact for any energy supply facility. One of those is the need for an energy facility. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, we have the lowest consumption per capita in the entire United States of energy, per capita. We're not on the top of many lists in Rhode Island, but that one's a pretty good one. So maybe we should give classes to the other states, I'm not sure. But Rhode Island is extremely efficient, obviously, in our energy consumption. So I ask you, since we're doing such a fantastic job in managing our own energy consumption per person living in our state, why are we being asked to essentially take a hit environmentally for the whole entire region by siting the largest power plant of its kind in New England in our tiny state? And putting that tremendous strain on our natural resources. We are also in the lowest quartile of U.S. states as far as energy costs per capita. So that argument about dependable and affordable energy, upon closer examination, to me appears to be a very weak argument. We've heard from the energy company they didn't even bid out the entire capacity of the plant at the energy auction. However, that seems to be kind of a moot point because the whole entire project needs to be permitted. And the impact to the environment and the biodiversity of that area will be as significant if the whole entire plant was operational from the beginning. Once we sacrifice these habitats on the altar of commerce, we can never regain them. So another thing I know you have to look at is the cost of the energy facility and the eventual cost to the consumer. In my past experience working in construction projects, I've seen the vast majority of projects go over cost and over budget. It's almost a joke. By their own admittance, this particular corporate entity has never built a plant of this size. So I ask you, how are we sure they are properly estimating the cost to build the plant, along with the eventual cost of energy which will be passed on to the consumer? I feel compelled to point out, this same company, which could not get a correct meeting notice printed in our local paper, in spite of the fact that same meeting had been properly noticed on the Siting Board website for weeks prior, if this is any indication of their future attention to detail and conscientiousness, the residents of Rhode Island are not assured of our safety. Okay. We've heard significant testimony from Rick Enser, a noted environmentalist, so I'll keep this part very short. Just wanted to point out, there are some specific species in that area. The black-throated blue warbler is established on the land proposed for the site of the plant. This bird relies on large tracts of unbroken forest upon which to live. Additionally, the federally threatened northern long-eared bat has been observed there, and additionally, the wood turtle. The wood turtles are becoming increasingly rare in New England due to their complex habitational needs. So further information on this can be found, and I'll submit it in written testimony. So in summary, I just want to say, even if the energy is needed, this is the wrong location for the plant. Our hope is when all hearings have ended, when the advisory opinions are submitted, and the three of you are making this momentous decision, that you will act as you have always acted throughout your respective careers, with the best interest of the people in mind. We are depending upon you. Please do not let this be another chapter in our story of Burrillville. Please follow the examples of the innovators and free thinkers which people the history of Rhode Island, and the great leaders who have protected and fought for the rights of the people, such as the religious dissident Roger Williams and the Revolutionary War hero General Nathaniel Greene. This is our history, this is our heritage, and we ask you to protect it. Please vote against this plan.